some of my experiences of that forge round. And then the corporate, because when I went to the corporate world, I did job, and then I came on the other side of the table. I started taking interviews, and when I realized that if when I other side, I realized something has changed. I started using empathy with my interviewees, which earlier I might have been lacking. And then I thought, when I from at the other end side of the table, and when I'm today on the other side of the table, what is the difference? Is there any gap? I started analyzing those gaps, and I started filling those gaps. And then I started journaling and jotting down those lessons of the from the other side of the table. And that is what I'm going to share today. So those who want to have a wonderful future, those who are serious about themselves, ladies and gentlemen, you all are present here today. Anything you have in your mind, any question, any curiosity, any doubt, most welcome. Most welcome. I would love to, find answers to those queries, those doubts, those curiosities. And I'll try that. But since my school time had been a big, try to give you the answer in a backbencher approach. And being a backbencher, what the best thing I learned from my school time is called creativity. It's called critical thinking, and it's called responsive. So anybody who believes that I have shared something during the session which you might use, jot it down. Use your paper and use the technology, whatever you have today, but jot it down, because the brain, it will forget what I said, but it will always remember what you wrote. So try to get the return of the session. First, let's understand what is critical thinking. As a layman, if I say nothing, when I'm sitting alone, I'm thinking about something, and then I just went on a different parameter. I shifted to a different parameter, then shifted to a different, step by step. I went to a different path, and then I scrolled the entire thought from 0 point to till now. And when I started analyzing those thoughts, I thought which one is the best one. And I chose the best one, I structured it, and then I implemented it. As a layman, this is what is called critical thinking. But in terms of management, when you talk about critical thinking, it's the ability to analyze, evaluate, and structure your thoughts, but with rational and logic. Because, helps to say, like, let's look at both sides of this topic, or let me break this problem down, or let me go deep on the topic. When you're using these sentences or these phrases, this denotes that you are using critical thinking. Let's take an example. Social media is destroying real communication. And please, when you start talking on this topic, please, I request you all, don't jump on, yes, it is. Or don't jump on the opinion, no, it's not. Because that is not a response, that is a reaction. When you are talking about critical thinking and being responsive, I believe my opinion might be, or my understanding of the topic, I'll start like this. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, let's understand what real communication means here. Are we talking about like emotional depth or frequency of interactions? And accordingly, I will come down to the next point. If the communication we are talking about involves emotions, it involves like interaction one to one, then definitely it might be killing. The social media might be killing. But when you're talking that along with the emotions, along with the interaction, a lot many things, for example, passing the message, short period of time, or using the 7 C's of communication. And if this is the main rationale, I would say that social media is not destroying real communication. But, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes social media is diluting the real communication. So this is how I started sharing my view, and then I came to an observation, and from that observation I shared my opinion that, ladies and gentlemen, majority of the social media users, when they're not using it for communication, because it is just one-way communication. asynchronous communication. But yes, there are a lot of people on social medias who are using social media in a monologue way. And that is how they are bringing change, in their environment across the society and for their own betterment. And there are a lot of people who have used social media for upgrading themselves. In these terms, I must say, social media is not destroying real communication, but the other side, majority of people who are just using it for fun, time pass, and because nothing to do, so they're just scrolling it down. In that sense, ladies and gentlemen, social media is destroying real communication. But before coming to this observation and opinion, I must say, I have read editorials, not just headlines. I try to do mini SWOT analysis of the topics, which is like trending nowadays. Trending doesn't mean on Instagram. Trending means, for example, the geopolitics, like the recent one. You all are aware, Israel and Iran, and the result Indian economy faced in the last 2 days. You are aware that on Thursday, the share market, it was not that good, but yesterday it jumped back. But lot many people faced losses. When you talk about the recent topics, for example, when Mr. Donald Trump took the presidency, he started talking and blabbering about the tariffs, and across the globe, the market was in panic mode. But within few days, the market, after the correction, it recovered. So this is how you do the SWOT analysis of the topics. And then you always ask, why? WHY, why? The next is, so what? And the next is, what if? This is the backbencher attitude I believe I used to do since my school time. मैं पूछा करता था, क्यों? तो क्या? फिर क्या? So the same I do in the topics I try to delve into, or I try to go deep into the topic. The three questions, they always give me a path to become more critical. So till now, the learning I must say is use the three questions. Any topic you are going to read or practice, use the three questions: why, so what, and what if. For example, let's talk the example of socio-economic impact of renewable energy on Indian economy. And I am pretty aware that you all are going to, on a new your career. And before the finals, I believe that you must be having the appointment letter with you all. And very soon you'll be going to experience the GD and the personal interviews. And that's why my focus is on that part only, so that it could be more realistic and practical approach. Okay. So the topic, socio-economic impact of renewable energy on Indian economy. If the chat option is allowed, if the audience are allowed to use the chat, or if somebody is comfortable in using and showing their beautiful and handsome faces, most welcome to share your views or your experience, but very short. Or even you can use the chat box. I'll repeat the topic. The topic is socio-economic impact of renewable energy on Indian economy. But I request you all, ladies and gentlemen, please don't use ChatGPT to give the answer to this question, because I can today I can prove that ChatGPT can't give answers to my questions. I have done a lot of times. I believe more in the human intelligence rather than the artificial intelligence. So anybody who can share their views on this? I believe the chat is available for everyone. Okay, no issues. So let's bifurcate the topic, or let's dissect the topic. Socio-economic. So this topic has two basic conditions. The first is called the socio condition, and the second is called the economic condition. Now, the main important topic is renewable energy. But why? Why are we talking about this topic? Because we want to know the impact of this topic on Indian economy. But not only in terms of the economy, but in terms of the impact of social and the economic impact. So when you talk about socio-economic impact, I'll start with socio impact. Those who love to delve into, those who love to find new topics, or those who love actually knowledge, go to a website called startupindia.gov.in. I'm not here to preach how to start startups, but yes, I'll teach you how to gain knowledge from that website. On that website, there is a button called schemes and policies. You'll be happy. You'll be like central government and all the state governments. They're all ministries and all departments. This scheme has been published on that website. And then you'll come across some schemes like IREDA, or some schemes like solar rooftop, or there's a ministry of Indian government called MNRE, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Go to that website and then connect that the schemes, how they're impacting the socio thread of India. Just to take some examples, a lady in Kanpur, she was not that much good in terms of money or wealthy. So she took a small initiative, took the help of the government scheme called Mudra loans. So she took a small Mudra loan and she started setting up a solar lantern charging station at her home. And you'll be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, one initiative and the help of the Mudra scheme, she started charging all the lanterns in the village and the nearby villages as well. She was very busy entire day. And at the month of the day, she was so happy because she realized her bank account money has increased. And this is how one single lady took the help of the renewable energy and changed not only her family income, but because of that, she started helping the entire villagers so that they can enjoy 24/7 light or electricity. That's the beauty of the social impact of this scheme. When you talk about economic impact, that one lady is just one example out of 140 crore people. Today, lot many people have taken that step. They have taken the help of Mudra loans and they have started setting different projects of solar energy. When you talk in terms of macro level, then go to the places called Rajasthan, Gujarat, Spiti, all the deserts, the sand deserts and the snow deserts. Government has taken that initiative and a project has been started to convert the unused lands into solar parks. Also, when you go to Gujarat, there's a place called Baroda, and in Baroda there is a bridge called the Selfie Bridge. Entire bridge has been covered with solar panels. Then, when you talk about Delhi NCR, we have the Eastern Peripheral Way. Entire Eastern Peripheral, the lighting, electricity, lights, they are being, the electricity is generated through solar energy. Also, the water canals who are exposed to sun, and because of that, approx 10% water is evaporated. Now, lot many state governments have taken that initiative to cover those canals with panels. Two benefits. The first, you are stopping the evaporation of water, and the second, you are generating electricity. So this is called the economic impact. How many of you go that deep in the topic? Because when you talk about GD or PI, just blabbering is not the solution. Because the people who are going to take the GD and the PI, they are not interested in who you are. Rather, they are interested in what you have and what benefit you can provide to their organization. Because the organization, they are suffering from some problems and they're not able to get the solution. And that's why they're going to hire you so that you can provide the solution. And if you can't provide the solution, it's a waste of time for them. Because you are a consultant, you're going to give consultancy. So that interview session, the PI session, the GD session, it's the process of consultancy. And let me tell you, GD is a scientific way of eliminating majority of the candidates. Just one topic, 10 minutes of discussion, 80% people are eliminated. I'm so sorry to be so brutal. See, really, because I'm not here to please you. Okay. So when you go deep in the topic, when you ask why, when you ask so what, and when you ask what if, then you can understand the topic First, vertical, and second, horizontal. And this is how you can generate a lot of thoughts. And this is called being proactive and being responsive, because you are aware what question they are going to ask, because you have already asked that question to yourself. You are aware that the candidates, your friends who are with you in the GD, what points they might raise, and you would be ready with the next step. This is called the chess game. And at the end, you will be loving the checkmate, because you are the one who will be called the grand master. Those who love to get new topics or read new topics, you can have a new one more source I can share with you all, and that is called CII Research, Confederation of Indian Industries. Go to the website. There's a button called Research. Click it. And when you click the research button, you will come across one more section, and that is called publications. You'll be surprised, you'll be amazed, you will be like astonished to see amazing content, authenticated content, and supported by facts, supported by data, and amazing topics, the recent topics. Harshita has raised the hand. Anything, Harshita, from your side?
Yes, I'm so sorry to break your chain of thought here. Is there a possibility of switching the Wi-Fi network since there's a slight lag in the
Oh, I'm
video
so
and
sorry.
audio?
I'm so sorry. So sorry. So sorry. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt you. Yeah.
Oh, fine. The lag, I believe, is gone now. Okay, let's move on to the next part. So let's start directly from the GD. So I shared some sources from where you can get the topics. First was the startupindia.gov.in. The second was CII, Confederation of Indian Industries. One more source you can use is called the FICCI, FICCI, Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Beautiful topics, you will come across them. Those who want to gain knowledge on the different sectors of the industry, or those who want to hone or polish their skills and knowledge on the economy part, on this website there's a button called sectors. When you click the sectors, you will be like surprised, you'll be like what would I say, you'll be like in a tranquility that my goodness, we have so many sectors. For example, there's a sector of the Indian economy called Cascade, CASCADE, Cascade sector. I don't know how many of you are aware of the Cascade sector. Anybody who knows about the Cascade sector? Because the Cascade sector is not the traditional business model. Rather, all the products, all the things, all objects which government confiscates or seizes, or during the smuggling process, it is captured. All these products of illegal activities, illicit activities, are traded through the cascade sector, because for government authorities, when they seize or confiscate objects or things or products, and if they are trying to keep it in the warehouse, the cost of government will increase. And that's why these products are auctioned, except two. The first is called liquor, and the second is called drugs, because these are the two products which are destroyed. So this is how you can come across lot many topics. One recent topic you should read is called ESG reporting, environmental social governance reporting. And because you are going for starting a career, try to find out the different topics from different areas. Learn the art of polymathism. Ladies and gentlemen, try to be a polymath, because a polymath is the one who knows lot many things about lot many things. They're not just one subject oriented, but yes, they can survive everywhere. And when you talk about GD survival, the concept of polymathism will save you. Because GD, it is not a debate, it is not a speech. Rather, it's a simulation of how you will function in teams. the areas which is being like evaluated in GD, it's not how you talk, rather how you present, rather how you connect with your team, how you support your team, how you empathize, how you sympathize, and how you try to give opportunity to your friends as well, and how you take command, how you control. That is why your body language, your non-verbal, your paraverbal, everything counts. And the knowledge of the topic. Because if you want to earn money, gain knowledge. And the simulation of GD, it will denote everything about you. Because GD is the place where you can't fake. Because you are not alone. In PIs, you might fake, but in GD, after a while, you'll become the real one, whatever you are from inside. So, um, two skills specifically, when you talk about the GD, two skills again the same. The critical skills, which we require in GD, is the structure. We need to understand. First, we need to define the topic. Whatever topic is given, for example, the topic given to you is OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Again, those who are not aware, you can go to the website. It's an international organization, OECD.org. In that, you can understand on the home page, there's a line, it says, who we are. When you start reading the two paragraphs, who we are, it will help you to define the topic. And then when you go to the countries, the member countries, and then the topics covered under the OECD framework, it will help you to analyze the entire structure, the subtopics which are covered. For example, it covers the economy, it covers green growth, it covers sustainable development, it covers taxation, it covers education. So majority of the things, are covered under the OECD. And when you have defined and when you've analyzed, now comes the last part, because you can't speak everything. You need to reduce the content. You have to, if you have analyzed and defined 10, 15 points, maximum you should focus on 3 points or 4 points maximum. Because if you're speaking a lot and about everything, I believe we might get confused, because then you'll become more spontaneous. So we need to conclude that what is the impact, what is the benefit, and what is the future of this topic on the economy, on the society, or anything which the GD evaluator has asked you all through the topic. If you want to gain impetus in GD, the best thing you can do is use facts. Use facts, but explain them. For example, if I give you the topic GD ke liye, knowledge is an orphan. Knowledge is an orphan. I know you'll say, yes, knowledge is an orphan because anybody can adopt it. But before that, do you have any facts? Do you have any data? So let me share the data. As per the 2011 census of India, approx 3 crore Indians, kids, are orphans. And as per 2011 census, the entire population, officially the population of India was approx 125 crores. Imagine 125 crores, out of that 3 crores were orphans. We can use markup 10% as well. And when you do the average, you'll be like sad to know that minimum more than 2% of India's population is orphan. If minimum 2% of India population is orphan, then how can you say that anybody can adopt it? Second, because the kids, they are coming from a different background, a hostile background, where they have only one thing, and that is called survival of own. And the parents, foster parents, they're from the other side of the life, and making them synchronized on the same platform. It's really difficult. And when you talk about knowledge is the same child, which is like orphan. Somebody wants to adopt it, but it is very notorious. And that's why not everyone can adopt the knowledge. So in this topic, when I try to share my observation and opinion on that, knowledge is definitely an orphan. Not everyone can adopt it. And education is a privileged child, which is showcased everywhere. Because the data says minimum 2% of India is orphan. And then I explained the process, that what is the like meaning of actual orphan, and why the problem of adoption is there. One problem, for example, a single male cannot adopt a female girl child officially, and quite possible unofficially. Quite possible single male, it is very difficult for a single male to adopt a child. And that's one of the biggest reason that orphans, the number is increasing. And when you talk about knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, I must say, if I'm to summarize it, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, knowledge, it's omnipotent, it's omnipresent, and it's a God's principle. You need to just find it, you need to discover it. But education, you need to just buy it today. Education can be bought, but knowledge, not everyone can discover. And that's why we should try to adopt this child. And the moment you adopt this child, your life will be changed. Are you ready to change the life of yours through knowledge? So this is how summarized. Now, in between, lot many people will share their views. Lot many people will share their pointers. When you have spoken, just be calm and listen to them. And if you have a point to either contradict or to add on, just say, excuse me, I have a point to share, or definitely I vouch with what Mr. X told or Miss Y told, but I have a different view of the topic. I have some facts to present. I have some data of Government of India or the global data of United Nations. So this is how you have showcased to the evaluator that I'm very critical person. I'm not just blabbering here, but yes, I have done my homework. I have researched the content in advance with a proactive approach. And it denotes that whatever problem you give me in future, I am a solution oriented person. And this is how, when you start listening to them, you are building ideas for the other content or the other participants' pointers. And this is how, when you start saying, excuse me, I have something, the responses you are providing. There might be someone who might be there, sitting there to provoke you. Don't get provoked. Because when you are getting provoked, that showcases your reactions, not responsiveness. We can use phrases like, I agree with the point made, and I'd like to add. Definitely, what you said might be right, but I have a different shade of the topic. And I can share some data with you all, which might let you rethink on the topic. But keep in mind, don't interrupt aggressively. Pause, give some signals, and then speak. And it is better to enter the GD second or third after listening and forming two or three solid points. The GD sequence, the initiation, the body part, and the last, the conclusion part. Okay, the closing part. When you're talking about the initiative, definitely it is wonderful to start because first impression is last impression. People usually say, but if you are not aware of the topic, don't you ever start it. Let someone else start, because the moment you start, you have taken a side. Next, the body part. If you want to gain, if you want to showcase everybody that you have the knowledge, then always support your body part with data, facts, and very importantly, three or four main pointers which proactively you should think that the audience or the participants might not be aware of. Give them what they don't have. That is called the solid points. Okay. But if you're not aware of the topic, just stay calm, let people talk, and then your brain will start questioning. You can use the art of questioning over there. Now, you have the third option of creating impression as well. The first was the initiative, which might you missed. The body, you might have missed, but now one more chance you have, and that is called the summary or the closing part of the GD, because it is said, all is well that ends well. You can take this opportunity and sum up. And for this, the interview or the evaluator must have placed some paper and pencil no, beside you. Use that paper and pencil and jot down the pointers with names of the participants who are speaking. Just summarize, and as a team, summarize the content and say, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, it was wonderful being a part of the GD today. Mr. X said this, Miss Y showcased this, and no, Mr. A shared the data and supported with facts. Now, on behalf of the entire team, I summarize the topic, and the view of the team is this. That's it. So take 30 seconds, think on one point, and then take action. Now, start grilling yourself in terms of the GD part. Go for the video recording part. Try to have a small group or a buddy group of your friends, and always use new topics, not the no just वो कहते हैं कि रटा topics. Try to summarize, so not summarize, try to grill everybody in that topic. And this is how, when you start grilling your buddies, you all will come across different points of the topic, and it will help you in the GD. This is one of the best ways I learned in the Indian Army SSB interview. So GD was amazing over there. And I remember my topic of the GD in 2001 was Middle East crisis. Will it be solved ever? 20 years back, this was my topic of GD. Middle East crisis. Will it be solved ever? And I remember solidly, crystal clear, I remember after discussion, I summarized the GD. I took the opportunity. I summarized the entire GD and told that after everything, I summarized that Middle East crisis is not solvable, not possible. Because that time, I think George Bush or Bill Clinton tried to be the mediator. And then Barack Obama tried to be the mediator. And then Mr. Biden tried to be the mediator. And then Mr. Trump tried to be mediator. But till date, it has not yet been solved because of the geopolitics and different factors. And also, Middle East is the part where the liquid gold exists. The liquid gold, which is called the crude. And it is really, I believe, in the next 20 years also, it's my opinion now, that it won't be, no president or no mediator would be able to solve this problem. They may take a pause of 10, 15 years, but again, it will pop up like a mushroom or a popcorn. So let's move on to the next part. We are having approx 15 minutes with us. Personal interview and what skills to respond intelligently. The PI is not a test of memory, seriously. The employers, they don't have the time to evaluate your memory. They have many things to do. And if you want to evaluate a memory, go for a psychological test. Interview is not the place for you. But yes, interview, it is a test of your self-awareness, your clarity, your thought process. Hence, first point, be clear and share structured answers. If they ask you why you did this course, whatever you did, don't say because I want to grow. It's a very lame answer. It's a very lame answer. My qualification, 2007, I did my company secretary course. I completed my company secretary course. And when I went for the interview, the same question was asked to me, why you did CS? I said simply because CS has different variety of laws. CS has different variety of laws, focusing on the corporate laws mostly. And when I analyzed about the CS course before joining, I was happy to know it includes taxation, it includes the constitutional laws, it includes the consumer protection laws, it includes the share market related laws, it includes the laws related to banking system, insurance system, mutual fund system. It also includes the Transfer Property Act. Many laws I read. And I love to analyze things. And the best is analyzing law. I love to interpret the laws. And when I came into this course, my thought process after reading all these laws went a bit more far in my own analysis. I started going more deep in the topic. And when I spreaded my wings through the laws, I felt more empowered. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the answer I gave. And I told CS has given me lot of power, not in terms of physical, but in terms of mental strength. And that was the reason I joined CS. So it was not a lame, and it was the reality why I joined CS. I didn't fake the answer. So you need to come out that what is that one thing because of which you did the course. Quite possible somebody forced you, but during the process of the course, you must have understood that the course, what benefit it has given to you, that is your answer. So you can say like, I've explored in this and I noticed I enjoy strategic decision making. And that is the reason, for example, no, that's the reason I did my MBA, because that MBA gave me a lot of opportunities to know about the business verticals, business horizontals, and the strategic part. I can focus on the solutions now. It gave me the opportunity to present myself everywhere. It gave me the opportunity to be the torch bearer in corporates. So this might be one answer from your side, and it's not an exclusive thing. It is an inclusive. You can customize according to you. When you talk about responsiveness skills, how you can use it in personal interviews, I must say first, don't panic. Don't panic whenever the interview asks the surprise questions. Use the best weapon, and that is called a smile. Not much, but a smile. A smile, a small smile, and say, that's an interesting question, sir. May I take a moment? Because you are a human. You need to you are although agile, you are although resilient, but you need some seconds to recall it. And that some seconds, it will help your brain to go to that particular sector where that content or that information is lying, and suddenly you'll get the answer. But if you are not aware of the answer, I will say, I'm really afraid, sir. I'm not sure about the exact figure, but whatever I have read and whatever information I gained, I believe this is the data. And if actually you don't know anything about the topic, just simply say, I'm really afraid, I'm not aware of this. But definitely, if opportunity given to me, I can provide you the solution, I can provide you the answers. Allow me to share an important methodology. Let me share the screen first. I think I don't have the sharing option. Okay, no issues. Very important content or a concept I'm trying to share here is the STAR. When you talk about the TI part or the GD part, both should include the STAR, star. The STAR technique, wonderful technique. It will help you a lot in your GDs and in your PIs to increase your critical skills and to be more responsive in both the GD and PI. The STAR first is called situation, S for situation. It describes the context or the background of the situation you were in. For example, when I gave the topic socio-economic impact of renewable energy on Indian economy. So you need to find out what is the context or the background. You can use this topic in your perspective or in according to your degree or the company or the organization who are taking the interview. You need to set the context and the background and then share your answer. Second is called T, task. You need to explain the specific task or the challenge you needed to address. For example, um, 2009, someone asked me that, Mr. Mishra, you are a CS and still, how come you became a corporate trainer? So I shared that in 2009, I met with an accident. And because of that, I was on bed for 8, 9 months. And that was the beautiful moment of my life. That was the time I realized this blessing in disguise. That time I started watching a lot of things, a lot of content, reading a lot of content, and then literally the intuition came in my mind that I need to be a speaker. I need to be a speaker. And then I started collecting all the resources I required to become a speaker. I started practicing while being on the bed. I started reading a lot of books, a lot of content, a lot of papers, a lot of articles. I started listening to a lot of speakers. And that was a challenge for me because before that, I had never been on the stage from college, from school and college. You'll be happy to know, and some might be surprised, and some might be shocked to know that in class 12th, I was a rank holder. I scored 37%. I was a rank holder from the bottom. But today I'm teaching the people who have scored 99%. So for me, it was a challenge because I had never been on the stage. I was starting from zero. I had nothing to lose. And this is how I started developing all the skills required to become a great speaker. I dedicated everything, whatever I had, to become a speaker. I didn't use my CS degree for practice. And job was not possible because medically that time I was not able to do the job. So the only option I left myself was being a speaker. It's been 15 years now. So, sir, this is how I addressed and handled the challenge. Then there comes the action. Detail the actions you took to handle the task or solve the problem. Now, I set the platform from the challenge to the action part. I told them that I read, I watched the videos, I tried listening, and then when I talking about actions, then I would say the 2009. Initially, I started jolting down the thoughts. I started collecting everything what was required, but yes, in a very synchronized and logical, rational way. I used the mind mapping technique. I used the cause and effect analysis or the Ishikawa diagram, which I read in my CS. So I started collating these techniques, collaborating with different techniques, and then collecting the information and the data and the resources, but in a sequential way, in a chronological way. I drafted entire path of my next 10 years in sequence. I created my plan. I created my success path. And this is how I did. The first question I asked myself, what do I love to do? The next, what the world needs? The next, what is that one thing from which I can earn money? And the next, what is my passion? And then this helped me to know my mission, to know the skills I require, to know where from which profession I should opt. And it helped me to find out that what can I do for the society. So these are the actions I took to solve the problem. And the result, ladies and gentlemen, the result is it's been 15 years now, sir, ma'am. And I have touched approx 50, 60,000 lives from across different sections of the society: chartered accountants, company secretaries, MBAs, lawyers, politicians, even research scholars and PSUs and MNCs. I have a variety of clientele today, right from Indian Oil to ITC to EY to a lot many things. And I'm happy to share that approx 90% feedback I gained in my journey had been excellent, And majority of the audience, they told that, yes, you shared everything as a, as not a, as a layman, but yes, as the person who knows how to empathize with the audience. And you focused on providing solutions, not just preaching the problems. So this is how, ladies and gentlemen, you can create your own STAR, star, and you can become a star in your PI, in your GDs. Now, the last part I'll be covering in the next 5 minutes, some common mistakes to avoid. Very important. Let me tell you about our backbenchers' thought process. It is very amazing. Backbencher thought process says that first know what are the don'ts. What are the DONT apostrophe S? What are the don'ts? Because don'ts are abundance in numbers, abundant in numbers. And when you know the don'ts, when you filter it out, the left out is called the do's. The left out is called the do's. And that's why we should be aware that what we don't need to do, what we should avoid. The first thing, the mistakes which we should avoid is, keep in mind, whatever it is, but first start with, let's be real. Let's be real. You cannot fake, because GD is a psychological process where if you're faking, definitely there might be an evaluator who can easily see your body language, or you're fumbling, or touching nose, or when you're taking a lot of pauses, or we call it fillers during the conversation, and they are quite aware that you are not aware of the topic. So let's be real first. Okay, don't fake over there. Now, uh, what I have seen during when I came on the other side of the table, that many students, they lose not because of their poor content, but because they could not avoid the mistakes what I'm going to share, and I call them the pitfalls or the landmines. Because if you step on the landmine, definitely RIP, rest in pieces. The first bomb in the landmine or the pitfall is in GD, when you are trying too hard to dominate, or you are trying to be remaining silent. Both is not good. You can't be dominant and you can't be silent. You have to be a part of the discussion, because it denotes you are a team member, and you are contributing. In corporates एक लाइन आजकल कहते हैं, बने रहो पगला, काम करे अगला. If you are remaining silent, then you are that बने रहो पगला, काम करे अगला. And then the dominant, they are the people who are being avoided usually in corporate culture. So GD, it will showcase that you are not a perfect team member, teammate. Second thing, personal interview, when you talk about PI. And nowadays I have seen that majority of the students, they are getting 90 plus, 95 plus in their class 12th. But when I ask about some concepts, they say, I don't know. It was not taught to us. It was out of syllabus. Because what they did, they just crammed it and they just vomited on the paper, the question answer sheet, because they memorized the answers, which lacked sincerity. When you memorize, definitely your way of speaking would be different. But when you have that knowledge, your way of speaking would be more commanding, but humbleness as well. And it will showcase the aura you have, the confidence you have. And that's why I shared in the beginning that knowledge is an orphan. Not everyone can adopt it. And education is a privileged child, which is showcased everywhere. Don't memorize it. Rather, try to connect the dots. Try to correlate. Try to interrelate with different areas. And it will help you out. From Hindi grammar, there is a concept called Sandhi Vichhed. So I remember someone asked me, what do you mean by seed finance? I was not aware. I took a pause. I said, seed is related to trees, and seed is the beginning of a tree. And finance is about finance. So I got it. I got the answer. When you are going to start a business, the initial funding you require to start the business is called seed finance. I used my common sense over there, because I read about finances a lot many times, but that was the time I forgot the seed finance. But I took the pause, I tried to correlate, I tried to interrelate the content with different areas, and it helped me out. And it was not a memorized one. Third pitfall, not listening to the question fully. And seriously, please, this is the problem I would like to focus just for 10 seconds. In my last 5 years, when I have interacted with the prospective employees or the interviewees, the biggest problem I faced, without listening, they start blabbering. Please don't do this. Don't do this. Take time. Take time. Because when you are listening, your brain is processing the data. And after the question is done, take 10 seconds pause so that you can create the structure and provide the answer. Please do listen to even the phonetics and the punctuation marks in the questions. When you be a keen learner, you can be a great speaker. And the last, speaking too fast or speaking too slow. Both are not required. Both are not required. You are a human, and the pace should be this sometimes topsy, sometimes turvy, sometimes plain, sometimes bumpy. Depends on the content, depends on the emotions you require to pour in that part. So these are pitfalls we should avoid. And I must say that be natural, be honest, and show you are a learner with clarity. You are a learner with clarity. Now, what you can do first, the sources I shared with you all, try to go to the sources and jot down some important topics from them. And then start practicing those topics and start questioning the topic. But before that, create a buddy group where everybody can take small chunk of the topic and they can grill the other participants. This is how you can practice lot of topics, not memorizing, rather going deep in the topic. Second, if you're alone and if you want to do the practice, then go on screen, record yourself, speak about the topic, and try to be the person who knows that alone you can play different roles, just like chess. Those who play chess from both sides, they know. You are the only person, but you play both the opponent and the main competitor. So you can practice on screen by becoming different, by playing different roles in the GD or in the interview as well. And then try to edit after listening to your recording. Try to edit as an interviewer. If you see that the confidence is low or the body language is not that effective, try to change it. Try to upgrade yourself. So ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about GD or when you talk about PI, they are less about showing how much you know, but it's all about showing about how you think, how you listen, and how you connect. The real knowledge is connecting the dots. But don't be like Nokia Mobile, whose tagline was connecting people, but it got disconnected. Start where you are today, what you have, and practice regularly. That's your winning formula. And I read the Upanishad. I would like to close the session with a shlok. Amantram aksharam nasti nasti mulam aushadham yogya purusha nasti yujakastattra dullabha. There is no word having no meaning. The smallest word of English having only one syllable, and that is called I, has got the largest and widest meaning. There's no root having no medicines. Every root, either it be beetroot, carrot, the radish, every root has medicines inside. And there is no person who is incapable. Every person has some capabilities, some skills, some qualities. Finding a word without meaning, finding a root without medicines, and finding a person without capabilities is impossible. They don't exist. So this is how I am summing up today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. I just pray that you use the content I shared here, and those who have jolted down whatever I have said, it will definitely going to help you out. And learn that in GD and PI, before that, if you want to be more responsive, then use the art of proactiveness and try to grill yourself on the topic. Go for the economic part, go for the socio part, go for the strategic part of every topic: economic, socio, and strategic. And this is how you can have a wider knowledge of the topic, of the content. It was wonderful interacting with you all today. I tried that in a virtual world, I should use the art of monologue, but it was really not that much possible. But yes, even the dialogue, I tried that it should be shared in a monologue way so that the participants who are listening to me, they can feel it. दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है, क्योंकि ये प्यार तो होना ही था. So now we are on the verge of closing. No, over to our great faculty members over here, and over to the people who are coordinating this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this session. I am sure the students will benefit from it. If anybody has any thoughts or if anybody would like to ask something, you're most welcome to raise your hand. Yes, Amaman. I'm
Aman
so sorry.
Mohan.
I hope I've
Hi,
pronounced your name right. Yeah.
am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, ଆପଣ ମୁଁ ଶୁଣି ପାରୁଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କେମିତି ଅଛନ୍ତି?
Badhiya, badhiya. So,
हाँ,
sir,
बोलिए.
my question was that you mentioned that in GD at the last we can come ahead and conclude everything that our group have said. I've heard about this before also. I'm always confused about at what time, how would you know when to start to give that conclusion? Because if let's say I give the conclusion and then 10 seconds later some other person also wants to do it, then that's not the concluding factor because there are two different opinions that can be considered as a concluding line. So how to see through that?
Okay, wonderful question. And the first, I must say that the responsibility of closing the GD is of the evaluator. First thing, you should be a great listener, and you should not focusing on the evaluator, but your ears should be focusing on the evaluator. The moment they say, let's conclude, then you should be the person who should raise the hand first. You should be the person who should raise the hand first, not just speaking, just raise the hand and say, may I take this opportunity? Quite possible somebody else might have thought the same thing. And if they have raised the hand and they have spoken, and still the evaluator is waiting, it means, Mr. Aman, that the evaluator is waiting for some more responses. Because if the evaluator expected that only one person should conclude, then he will say, thank you, let's close it now. But if he or she is waiting, it means that evaluator wants to find out some more people who can give better conclusions. If you are the second or the third person who is concluding or summarizing, then you should not say that let's conclude. Rather, you should say that the previous friends of mine who spoke on the concluding remarks, keep in mind, I'm using the words who spoke on the concluding remarks. I'm happy and grateful to them. Everybody participated with their thoughts, and it was a wonderful moment to know the depth of the topic. And I'm grateful to my co-speakers, co-participants, and also my friends who started the conclusion part and handed over the responsibility to me to finally conclude the topic. And then you can use your opinion over there of conclusion. So this is the way I have used. And thank God GD and PI, they are not laws, they are not acts. They are the skill-based topics, and there is no set rule for this. There is no law for this, that this should happen like this only. Every 5 years, 10 years, the way of GD and PI changes. But this technique will remain forever. I hope, Aman, I could provide some solution to the questions you asked.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Anna, we can take your query now.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this session, sir. My question is that the resources, the 2 to 3 websites that you've mentioned for the topics,
Mhm.
do you think these are enough for law students to prepare from, or there are any other topics like the immigration issue in the US, or
Mhm.
probably the tariff wars or this Air India crash, whose responsibility it is? So I feel these things are really going around. These are really hot topics that everyone's talking about. So any other topic that you would want to suggest, or you'd want to share a list of topics with the OCS and probably they could further share it with us?
Someone said, thou shall seeketh shall getteth, and thou shall asketh shall be giveth. So, Anna, because you asked, it is my duty to provide you. The best way,
Thanks.
let's use the fusion of technology, Anna. I'm not against AI. I love to use AI, but my question is, how many of you know how to use ChatGPT? Let's refine and rephrase the question. How many of you know how to use the prompts or how to write prompts? I'll give you a small way of using prompts. And what you can do, you can go to your ChatGPT or any AI tool you are using. Just write the prompt. that, hi, I'm Anna Bhatia from law background. I'm a law student and going for preparing for my interviews, which is scheduled in the next 2 months or 1 month. And I have interest in geopolitical issues and also the international laws related to immigration, comma, whatever you want to write, full stop. You are an expert in research methodologies and content creation on technical topics, full stop. Go minimum 20 websites deep on these topics and suggest me the sources which are reliable, which are credible, and which can provide solutions and answers and topics to these above topics. Then also try to give me the bibliographies from different research papers published on these topics. Full stop. All the content, all the suggestions you are providing should be verifiable and should be most credible one. And then enter. Within 10-15 seconds, and I will be happy. I just shared 3-4 websites. But the moment you write the prompt, the chat GPT or the AI you are using, it will provide you many sources. Many sources, because you have written the prompt, you have given the command, and you have given the filters as well. And this is how you could see the layman way of using chat GPT when they say give me some website's name, that's it. But the professional way I just shared with you, Anna, and I love law, seriously, I love law. But keep in mind, when you are using the chat GPT, at the end it writes it is AI version, connect with the human expert. So I did what once I did a search on ChatGPT, Anna, and I wrote that, hey, you are the Solicitor General of India, Harish Salve, and I need your expert advice on the topic, that difference between arbitration and conciliation. But the solution you are going to provide should be holistic, based on all the Indian laws applicable for arbitration and conciliation, and also international case studies which Mr. Harish Salve has used. And then I entered, and I was so happy to see the content. My friends, when they tried to find out the answer, and my content was totally different and more powerful. So you can use, Anna, this methodology to gain more sources. But keep in mind, again, I would say knowledge is an orphan. Not everybody would use this way of finding the content, but I have faith on you, Anna, that you are going to use it. Hope I could provide you the solution. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure, ma'am.
Gianna.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much for the session. My question, slightly unrelated to GDs, but at the end of every interview, they always ask a question, which is, do you have any questions for us? And this is something I've always struggled to answer, because it's most people give a very generic answer, something like, like how is AI being integrated in your firm, or like all of us use the same sort of answers. So, what would you say we should do to like distinguish ourselves in asking a question to the firm? Because I know they take that very seriously.
Okay. Gianna, as your name is very unique, your answer should be also be very unique. Don't use that chalta firta answer what everybody has just crammed and just vomited in the interviews. If I would have been in your place, I might be saying that it was wonderful meeting you, ma'am, and I learned a lot from you during the interview process. But I'm curious to know. That what is the time period when you started as an executive and you are sitting at this position? What's the time period you just achieved that success? I'm curious to know about that success journey, sir. May you please help me out with this, or ma'am, may you please help me out with this? So it was not like buttering someone, or it was not like just the rot question somebody is asking, but yes, it was my curiosity, and it was a genuine question I wanted to ask. So this would be my question. And again, Gianna, you can frame your own question, but But keep in mind, Gianna, that question should show your personality. That question should show that it is Gianna's question, not someone else's question. For example, if I could evaluate you, Gianna, you are an eloquent person and who wants to go very wide in the topic first, not deep, but very wide in the topic. And you might be the person who wants who loves to like correlate the topic so that the mind should be becoming more wider. The horizon should be, more wider. Am I right on this analysis, Gianna?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, wonderful. So your question might be that, ma'am, sir, I'm really curious to know that the laws your organization is mostly focusing on. I researched that your organization mostly focusing on international arbitration. So may you please suggest me some more sources, some more credible sources from where I can upgrade my knowledge on international arbitration? That's it. Khatam. It showcases that the candidate is eager to learn and it's very curious, and that candidate loves to upgrade himself or herself. Simply, that's it.
Right, so thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope we're done with the session now, Harshita ji.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And thank you to all the students who have attended this session. I hope it was insightful and helpful. Thank you, sir. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, ma'am. Stay happy,
Thanks.
stay hungry, stay blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.